Well, when we look at weather minds today, we're talking severe weather and the risk for severe weather. Now, here's the risk map today, shows a slight risk in yellow across southern Minnesota. So what exactly does that mean? We show this map a lot in terms of severe weather. When we talk about a slight risk, that typically means we are not looking at a tornado risk. We're looking more at isolated storms bringing us wind and hail potential. Very rarely in the season across the country do we look at things like a moderate risk or a high risk, where we're looking at a widespread outbreak of stronger tornadoes. So today, again, a slight risk of severe weather across southern Minnesota.